What's going on, Sumolings? Thanks for joining us for another product walkthrough webinar. As you know, I am Lindsay, and today I am joined by the team over at FreshStock. FreshStock is an asset library with the most diverse collection of premium, curated stock vectors and templates created by world-class artists. It's available on AppSumo right now for $69 for a lifetime deal. But before we dive into the walkthrough, I just want to tell y'all a few quick things. The first is that if you want to tell us a little bit about your business, your use case, anything like that, you could do that in the chat room. We'd love to hear from you. The next thing is if you have any questions about the tool, the deal, how to get set up, you can leave those questions in the Q&A box down below this video, and then we'll circle back to those at the end of the walkthrough. And the final thing is that there will be a replay of this available. So if you need to step out or if you want to watch this again, you can go ahead and do that. All right. That's it for me. Hey, Justin, how are you doing?
I'm feeling fresh, Lindsay. Thanks for having me. Hey, everybody.
It is good to have you. I'm going to go ahead and pass this over to you. Let me know when you're ready for the questions.
Awesome. Well, happy Monday, everybody. Happy Indigenous Peoples Day. At FreshStock, we are on a mission to build the world's most diverse stock asset library. And so obviously with that in mind, we want to honor very unique and diverse, cultures, holidays, whatever it may be. That is our main mission, is to become the world's most diverse stock asset library. And so actually diving into the product here, this is the kind of the homepage that you're greeted with when you go onto the FreshStock library. And I apologize, let me back up a little bit. My name is Justin. I am on the marketing team here at FreshStock. So very excited to be here with you all. And again, as Lindsay mentioned, if you have any questions, put them in the Q&A and we will get to all of those questions, hopefully. All right, so as I mentioned, this is the kind of the homepage area. If you are not logged in, obviously go ahead and click the login button. And the beauty with a new feature that we added with FreshStock is you actually have the ability to log in and sign up with Facebook, Google, or LinkedIn. It makes it very, very nice to kind of just log in on the fly or sign up on the fly. So I'll go ahead and log in here. This is kind of some new options that you'll see when you log into FreshStock. You have your account, you have some tools, your requests, and then collections and downloads. Now, as I mentioned, we are on a mission to build the world's most diverse stock asset library. So the main banner on a monthly basis is we will highlight unique causes or cultures or holidays. So obviously October is National Indigenous Peoples Month. So obviously we want to highlight those at the top every month. And then at the bottom here, we have like fresh themes where you can obviously scroll through different types of themes. At the beginning of each month, as I mentioned, we will highlight that as the first theme in the library. As you can see, we have a popular section, and then it goes, all the way up until, sports, social media, and even business and holidays. So that is the second section. Below here, we have the browse by asset type. Obviously very self-explanatory. If you need an icon for a project, or you need a web page for a client, or even a menu, you can always just go ahead and just browse by asset type by the homepage. Finally, when we scroll down to the last section on the homepage, there is just new designs that are added every single day. As I mentioned, we have a team of world-class designers that can on the fly create new designs and upload those to our library. So as I mentioned, hundreds of new assets are added every single day. So we'll go ahead and just kind of browse some of the options that are available. As I mentioned, each month we highlight unique causes or cultures or holidays or whatever it may be. So this is when you go to a certain asset type or you search in something, you're greeted with a very nice visual layout of all of the assets. If you wanted to click an individual one and you wanted to download it, this is the actual search result that you'll see on an individual asset. Obviously it has a very descriptive headline, the image, and then you actually have the ability to, if you have a design pickle designer, you could actually request this, and it will send you to the request type on Design Pickle. So you could basically say, I like that Happy National Indigenous Peoples Day Instagram post. let's go ahead and modify this however I like with a design pickle designer. Or if you are a designer yourself, you can download the asset. You have 3 asset types: EPS, JPEG, and PNG. Obviously, there's an option to download all assets if you did want to do that. You have the ability to share. You can share it out and then send it to any designers that you think might benefit from, whether it be this individual stock asset or from FreshStock in general. And the cool thing that's probably my favorite thing is the save to collections, right? So let's say you're browsing for a future project or to show a client. What you can do is you can compile, you can curate and compile a full collection of, again, for this example, indigenous people's assets, and then save it. So as you can see, there's an unlimited amount of collections that you can create. I have a pretty extensive list here, but you would just go ahead and click this create new collections tab, and then you would just name it whatever you wanted it to be. So we'll do indigenous people. And then we just create collection. So if we wanted to have a couple more, we would maybe just add a couple more to the collection. And then I'll pop over to the actual collections page. That way you can see it a little bit more in depth. So we would just add a couple assets to each collection. We would go back to the collections tab. And as you can see, we'd have to refresh this here. And it's right here. So as I mentioned, there's the ability to share. You can share this actual link out, and you can also edit this. So if you wanted to describe it, you can just put a quick description, and then, obviously it's there. So collections is probably one of my favorite features. Obviously we are going to be improving on the collections tab, hopefully making a bulk download asset where you could just download it from the entire collection. You don't have to go individually to each asset and download. So that's very nice. I'm very looking forward to that. And then obviously, with Halloween coming up, a lot of people are asking about, what capabilities you guys have. So as I mentioned, we have about 790, search results for Halloween assets. So we are adding continuously every day to our library to make sure that there's a healthy collection and variety of things that are very diverse, but also things that are very normal, right? Halloween's a very nationally recognized holiday. So we want to make sure that we have, a healthy amount of assets. All in all, I'd say we have about 25,000 assets currently. By the end of 2020, we would like to have a little over 30,000. And obviously we're going to continue to build on that library. So that way we are able to, have a plethora of unique, diverse assets, but also, again, very healthy and very well-known assets, just like Halloween. So one other thing that I wanted to talk about was that the tags. So if you were on and you just typed in something very brief about Halloween, and you wanted to see what else there is that Halloween might not pick up in the search results, there's an awesome section where you can just browse by tag. So if you wanted to do something like party, so if there's a party that you're like, okay, let's see what other options they have for party, then you can go in here and then you can say, okay, 2021 Halloween party, this is exactly what I wanted, download it right from there. Another feature is similar assets. So if there's, again, something that you want to maybe browse in the same category, whether it be a Halloween or a party post, or even just a different holiday, we have similar assets down here that you can just quickly go to. You click it, and then you can obviously download and browse from there. So these are some cool mini features that FreshStock allows you to further help you explore throughout the platform, because we're a very fresh, new library. We want to make sure that you're able to explore, even if there's something that you had in mind. We want to make sure that you can still continue to find assets on a weekly, daily basis, whatever it may be, by project. So yeah, all in all, this is pretty much FreshStock right now. It's a very simple product to use. However, we Again, we're priding ourselves on becoming a very diverse stock platform. You know, some of the big players, obviously they are bigger. However, they basically don't have any control really of the assets that they put out. So it could be very random, but it doesn't go to a core focus. And our core focus in 2020 is something to bring a fresh outlook on design assets, and again, bringing diversity in everything we do. So Lindsay, I actually will kick it back to you for any questions. It seems like we might have a couple on the line here. So, and if there's anything that they want me to walk them through, I can absolutely go ahead and walk them through anything that, you know, I might have missed.
Cool. Yeah. So it looks like all of the questions have to do with then editing the asset. So I'm going to go ahead, and we got one that just says, how do you edit the text? Somebody else says, can the assets be used in Crello and Pixteller? Somebody else asked, do you have to use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop? What can you clarify for here? Oh, it looks like you're muted.
Sorry about that. So the last one was about Illustrator, correct?
Yeah.
And it was regarding if they need to have the software.
You have to use Adobe Illustrator or Photoshop. Yeah.
So you do not. You can use any other version. So that's why with the EPS, it doesn't pigeonhole you into using an Adobe product. I know I was doing some quick research, and it looks like Canva, they have the ability to upload EPS or SVG files. So if you did have a platform that you're using like Canva, you in theory could go ahead and use our assets to download and modify any of those through Canva. Another thing you can do is if you had, let's say, you know, Crello or anything like that, you could just download it and just download like the JPEG, and then you would be able to add text on top of that. So you wouldn't be able to fully modify it, but you can add on to those existing assets that we have.
Great. When was FreshStock established? Where is your team located? How large is your team? And what time zone does your support team follow?
So FreshStock was launched by Design Pickle in mid 2020. So we've been around for about 4 months now. Obviously continue to refine the product every single day. We are based out of Scottsdale, Arizona. So we're technically Arizona time, but we bounce from Mountain Standard to Pacific Standard Time. But our support staff is global. We have an entire CS team and design team of global designers, right? And that's bringing into the mission of global diversity. So if you have a question and our Scottsdale HQ team is not online, you will still get your question answered probably very, very shortly.
Great. Some follow-up questions. I use Design Bold and Pixteller. Will I be able to use these, as I like some of the images and would want different text?
So I'm not too familiar with either of those. I would maybe do a little bit of research if they can upload or they can take SVGs or EPS files. That's really even like, I mean, that's the main question, is if they can accept or you can use those files in there. I mean, also, like I mentioned, you can upload a JPEG or PNG, I'm sure, to those and add text to them. But in terms of modifying the actual asset on FreshStock, you would need, again, a program that allows the ability for you to upload those EPSs or SVG files. So unfortunately, I don't have the answer to those two platforms, but I think some quick research can help answer that.
Great. And somebody asked if you're planning on offering the images in SVG file, but it sounds like they come in that, or no?
Yes, so they do. They have the ability to have, well, not SVG right now, it's just EPS.
Okay.
Yep.
What are existing integrations and what are planned integrations in the future?
So as I mentioned, we are owned by Design Pickle. We were founded by Design Pickle. We are really going to go heavy in this, I'd say, near-term future of a little bit more integrations with our sister platform, Design Pickle. As I mentioned, you can make a request right now, but there's the ability that you can easily request a custom illustration from one of our custom illustrators at Design Pickle with FreshStock. So if you wanted to say, I think this would be good on the platform, you would just request it through Design Pickle, that would be kind of that integration with our custom illustrations platform and product on Design Pickle. Just to kind of touch up on the roadmap too, just so everybody knows, by end of 2021, like I mentioned, we really want to go heavy on our assets. So we hope to have about 30,000 on the platform. Better integration again between the Design Pickle library and our Design Pickle custom illustrations. Also increased search functionality. So sometimes you'll notice if you put in flyer or flyers, it's basically the same thing. So we want to be able to basically continue refining that search functionality, and then improved collections. Like I mentioned, the ability to do a bulk download in our collections, or sharing it a little bit easier. So collection search, the amount of assets that we have, and some integrations for our sister platform Design Pickle. We would like to eventually have the ability where you can actually edit those assets on FreshStock. So this kind of takes a lot of those questions where it's like, if I had Crello or I was using Canva, in theory, when we move towards that, you would not have to. You could actually go on the FreshStock platform and then just edit from there.
Great. How does the request feature work, and how long will a request be granted?
So yeah, let's go and just kind of quickly touch on this real quickly. So if we wanted this asset here and we had our Design Pickle designer, we had an account, you would basically name exactly what that is, and you would be able to, in the description, you would be able to tell them what you wanted changed, if you wanted a different color, and those requests. So just for context, you would need a Design Pickle account in order to have this feature available. But you can get, if you're not a designer per se, and you wanted to, again, modify something that was for your business or your client, you would be able to, again, request something that's a little bit more, again, modified to your needs with the Design Pickle request. That takes anywhere from 1 to 2 days. Could be a little sooner, but it just depends on the complexity of the request. So it doesn't take too long.
Great. Sumolings, if you have any questions, now is your time to put those in the Q&A box. We are getting close to the end at this point. Someone did ask what the cost of the custom illustrations are.
Yeah, so the cost of custom illustrations for Design Pickle is currently $4.99, but again, it's on demand. Again, unlimited custom illustrations. It's great for startup companies or agencies that have a robust clientele that need design assets that are very specific to what they're looking for. And again, in the future, we're working on that for FreshStock, but right now, $4.99 at Design Pickle.
Cool. And how far off would you say the edit functionality is from existence?
I don't think I'd be able to give you a clear timeline on that, but I would say that it's something that we're working on for potentially next year.
Great. Yeah, I know. Will it be included in the AppSumo deal when it exists?
It's a good question. I'm not too sure. I would have to double check on that. If anybody has any questions that we weren't able to touch on, you're more than welcome to reach out to help at freshstock.com, and we can go ahead and take care of any questions that we unfortunately weren't able to hit today. Or if there are some little bit more complex questions, go ahead and drop those at help@freshstock.com.
Yeah, I will say it's definitely hard to tell the future when it comes to just what's going to happen. I feel like this year has really made it extremely hard to predict the future, as hard as it had been before this year. And so, yeah, unfortunately, I can't imagine anybody has a timeline for anything anymore at this point. Those of you that do, kudos. I don't know how you do it. Those are the questions that we have for today. I can go ahead and wrap us up. Sumolings, if you have not already, you can redeem your codes at appsumo.com/freshstock. Again, it is starting at $69 for a lifetime deal. And of course, that is backed by AppSumo's 60-day guarantee. Go ahead, get set up, play around with it, see how it works for you. Once you do that, we'd love to hear your feedback. You can leave that on the deal page. We want to hear your reviews. So far, we got 5 tacos with 12 reviews going for this one. So it seems to be beloved so far. And then if you have any more questions, you can contact their support, or you can leave those questions on the deal page. Always happy to answer them. Sorry if we didn't get to your questions today. Yeah, thanks so much, Justin, for walking us through this.
You're welcome, Lindsay. Thanks, Sumo Links. Hope to see you at FreshStock.
All right, have a good one.
Bye-bye.